County Public Library, and today in Tuesday Crafternoon, I would like to show you how you can make a falling leaves bookmark that's hand stitched. Now this is more of a card size, but this is just to show you this is what the pattern ends up looking like. Though in the bookmark pattern, you're going to be able to do 3 leaves on a piece of cardstock. So what you're going to need for this is cardstock that's about 2.25 inch wide by, let's say, between 5 and 6 inches long. You'll want another piece of cardstock that's going to go on the back of this when it's finished to hide the back of the stitching. I already have mine punched out, but you would need your pattern, a piece of cardboard, and an awl to put the holes in the pattern for you. You'll need needle and embroidery floss, and you can do any kind of leaf colors that you want to do. If you just want to do all green, if you want to do a mixture of fall colors. I'm just going to demonstrate one leaf in the pattern, so I'm just going to go with brown. You'll also need your embroidery scissors, and you'll need tape and regular scissors, because remember, as with all the other hand stitched patterns we've done before, we don't put knots in the thread. We just tape the ends down to hold down the bulk in the cardboard. So with all of that, let's get started. Okay, so to get started, we've got the entire pattern punched out here. And what I want to do is stitch this center vein first, going up and then coming back down, and just kind of alternating, up, down, up, down, up, down, all the way up, and then reversing that to fill in on the way back. And then we'll do the sides. So I want to start down here at the point. And I'll secure that with tape. And as you can see, I'm using 3 strands of the floss here. So I've come up at the bottom one. I'm going to go down the next one, up the next, and down. And it's just going to make a dashed line going up. And then we'll fill that line in coming back down. So that brings us to the top, and we just turn it around. Okay, so that's the center. And now what we're going to do is just one short line across the bottom here. And then I'm going to come back up this hole and go up to this first hole up from the bottom on the stem. And then I'm going to come out to the edge to the next hole here. And I'll go back to that same hole on the stem. back to that outside hole, and up to the next hole on the stem. Now you can see we're starting to get a bit of a zigzag here. And I'm going to move up to the next hole on the outside of the leaf, connect to that same stem hole, back out to the same hole at the side, up to the next hole along the stem. So that shows you the zigzag a little more. In the pattern that I'm going to have in the take and make kit for this, because yes, this will be a take and make kit, I'll have each of the holes lettered or numbered and then have the directions very clear about which hole to come up, which to go down, so that you get this pattern. But this is the basic idea of it, that we're zigzagging our way up. So on your way up, from the outside holes, you're connecting to two separate holes on the stem. And you can see the same applies if you think from the stem outwards. So from the stem, you're going to an outside hole and to the next outside hole going up. It's really not something that's very simple to explain. It took me a while to figure out what for me would be the best way to go about stitching this, and this is what I finally hit upon, was this zigzag method. So I hope as you watch this, it'll make sense to you as well. And now that we've gotten to where the stem keeps going up, but the leaf goes out to the side, I've got this line going across to the stem. This next line is going over to here. And we'll fill in this side of the leaf. Oops, excuse me. All right, so we've zigzagged our way up to the top of the leaf. Now, if you take a look here, all of my lines are going this way, and now we want to do crossing those zigzags coming back, and these are going to be at a slightly sharper angle. So what we're going to do first is just finish off this top here. Come on. So remember, this zigzag up here, you had one going across and one going up to the next hole. So I just went over to this hole and I'm going to finish that. And then I'm coming back to that same hole. And let's think about this backwards. We've been thinking from the outside hole going in, and you're connecting to one here and one here. So if you think from the opposite side, I'm coming up this hole, this is connected straight across and then down one, but we also want to go down one more. I promise you, it's better explained in the instructions. And then I want to go back up 1, 2. Take that up to the top. All right. Yes, that's where I want to come up. Okay. So this one, we've already connected here and here. We want to go down to this hole here. And then I'm just going to go down 1 hole. And back up. And you can see the way we're crossing it is turning it onto kind of diamond shapes here. And for this, every time we end up at one side or the other, when you go down a hole, you jump down to the next hole to come up. You're just going 1 hole at a time. You can see now why this took me several tries to figure out how I best wanted to do it, and I still have to stop and think my way through it every time. It's okay. Once you get into the groove with it, you'll really be able to whip these out in no time. It's a lot of fun. All right, so that is one side of our leaf. The other side is pretty much the same thing. You just kind of have to flip what you're thinking. So I'm up at this outside hole. We've already gone across 1. Now we're going to go up 1 along the stem, back out to the edge, and then we'll come in and do this same hole again, back out to the edge, and up a hole. And we zigzag our way up. No, okay. See, you can get a little too confident sometimes doing this. I have to stop myself and figure out what it is I'm supposed to be doing instead of talking. So I'll shut up now and let you just watch. And there you go. We've finished one leaf. So it gets a little tricky when after you've zigzagged up a leaf, you try and come back down. But the Take and Make kits will have much more explicit directions on which holes to go up, come down, and what sequence, as well as a picture of finished leaves that are a little bit larger so that you can actually see what they're supposed to look like. So hopefully that will help when you're ready to get stitching from one of our kits. Now I'm only going to stitch the one leaf here because you probably don't want to sit here and watch me do all three, but the principle is the same on each of them. You can use just one single color for your leaf, or if you want to get a little more of that changeable autumn leaf color vibe, you can do maybe 2 strands of one floss and 1 strand of a floss that's just a little bit different in shade. You'd be amazed how much more vivid and sparkly that makes your stitching. You can do all one color, you can do multiple colors, totally up to you. When you're done, to cover up your stitching on the back, you'll want to have another piece of cardstock or thick paper, whatever you have, that's about the same size or a little larger, which this I'm now seeing is not, but the idea is then you would glue or tape to cover this, and then you could trim it to the right size. That's just going to keep those from snagging when you use them, hide the imperfections, which we all have, and it's absolutely fine. And it might actually give you a chance to add a little more seasonal flavor to your bookmark. So I hope you'll be able to come and pick up one of the Take and Make kits. We have several people registered already, but there are still slots available. You can register through our calendar of events on the library website or call the reference department and we'll be happy to put your name on the list. Each kit will have enough for you to make 2 bookmarks, so you can have some fun with that. Make one for yourself, one to share, or keep them both. Hey, I don't judge. And you can have some extra fall fun with your reading. I hope you give this a try, whether you pick up one of the kits or not. And in the meantime, I hope you will stay healthy, be kind, and get creative. Bye-bye.